Can you see Jesus in Attack on Titan? You see, at the start of the series, Eren Yeager's home was attacked by Titans, and he witnessed his mother be devoured by Titans. This, of course, broke him, setting him on a path of revenge to destroy all Titans, only for him to find out that others are the reason for the tragedy of his mother's death. Slowly, as the story progresses, we see that Eren's rage has to be directed from one enemy to another. And of course, as the audience, we're kind of feeling his pain. We understand why he goes to such extremes to pursue his revenge. But how much is too far? Because as we know, Eren goes as far as to commit genocide on the entire world for his revenge. Although at first we felt as though it wasn't Eren's fault, the tragedy that happened, so of course he has a right to be angry. But at some point you have to be held accountable for the things that you do, no matter what. This reflects the sin nature of humanity, where they like to see themselves as victims at times, or that the things that they do wrong are not as bad as what other people do, ultimately making justifications for their bad actions. Like Eren Yeager. Now you're probably asking, where does Jesus come into play in all this? Jesus comes into play in all this because each and every one of us inevitably sinned. Whether it's because we were brought up that way, whether it's because tragedy struck us so bad that we ended up corrupt, or whether or not we tried to auto-correct for being bad, that we do others harm unknowingly. Inevitably, everyone's guilty of doing something wrong. I mean, we see how Eren affected Gabby, right? But that's why we need the grace of Jesus Christ. That's why we need to acknowledge what Christ has done and why it was so very needed, because inevitably we will never be good enough. Inevitably, we can never make ourselves the perfect human being to be worthy of the love of God. But because of what Christ did, we are able to be received by God in spite of. This does not mean that we can continue in our wicked ways. I mean, should we sin that grace may abound? God forbid. But this does mean that a person that we can trust, not Eren, to lead us to the light rather than to darkness is Jesus Christ, the only person to live a perfect life. So can you see Jesus in Attack on Titan?